Dear Albalah. Gaza Strip. Israeli forces ed with Hamas militants across Gaza on Wednesday. These intense prevented delivery vital aid to much of region and brought about some destruction and mass displacement seen in north. As focus ground offensive moves down Gaza Strip and towards Khan Yunis, second largest city, area within which Palestinians can seek safety becomes ever smaller, pushing out large numbers of people, many whom have been forced to flee multiple times, towards the closed border with Egypt. On Gaza side of the border, makeshift shelters and family homes are already overflowing, and many people are sleeping on streets. Meanwhile, thousands of Egyptian soldiers have been deployed to prevent a mass refugee influx that Egypt says would undermine its decades-old peace deal with Israel. The UN says about 1.87 million people have already fled their homes. Many Palestinians fear they will not be allowed to return. Much north, including much of Gaza City, been completely destroyed, and Palestinians fear the rest Gaza could suffer a similar fate as Israel seeks to break up Hamas, which has deep roots in territory it ruled for 16 years. Following the October 7 attack that triggered the war, Israel vowed to continue fighting, saying it could no longer accept Hamas military presence in Gaza. An estimated 138 hostages remain in Gaza after more than 100 people were released during a ceasefire last week. Revelations of their plight, widespread rape and other atrocities committed during the attack, deepened Israeli anger, further increased support for the war. Pushed aside, the war has been an unprecedented disaster for Palestinian civilians. It has overshadowed 4 previous wars between Israel and Hamas, and their suffering will only worsen as the offensive progresses. The UN Humanitarian Office said aid distribution, mostly just flower water, was only possible in and around Rafah, on the Egyptian border, due to road closures by Israeli forces over the past 3 days. The situation is extremely dire, said Hamza Abu Mustafa, a teacher who lives near the shelter used by the school in Rafah, which itself hosts 3 families. You can find displaced people on the streets, schools, in mosques, hospitals, everywhere. A Palestinian woman who identified herself as Ahmed said harsh conditions and limited access to toilets were especially difficult for women who were pregnant or menstruating. Some took social media to demand menstrual pads, which are increasingly hard to find. The pain is twice as severe for women and girls, Ahmed said. This is a greater humiliation. The humanitarian crisis worsens further north. Naraz Abu Libda, who took refuge in Khan Yunis after being displaced 6 times, said the situation in UN-run shelters there was beyond catastrophic, with people fighting over food. The hunger war has begun, he said. It was stated that nearly 200 injured people have been brought in every day since December 1, when T.